All right, everyone, welcome back. SportsBook Sports, all things sports betting. I'm your host here, Connor, with my boy GA.
What's up? Welcome to part 13.
Yeah, part 13 tonight. After a little bit of a hiatus that we had there.
Yeah. I mean, you were off for the week. I did a couple episodes, but I mean, if you've been fading me, you've been doing well. If you've been tailing me, you've been doing bad. It's been a rough couple weeks for me when I came off that golf betting. Baseball hasn't been too good, but starting off the week straight, trying to get back on it.
Yep.
Again, Sportsbook Sports on Instagram and YouTube here. Sportsbook Talks on Twitter. Give us a like. Let us know what you guys are thinking for tonight's games. There's a pretty good baseball slate. And, there's going to be some good baseball slates for the next couple weeks. And I know we talked about getting into the whole college football, NFL. We'll be doing that in early August.
Yep.
NBA drafts coming up this week. So there's
draft.
always something going on in the sports world. But betting-wise, unless you're betting the Olympics right now, it's really baseball for us.
Yeah, and I was going to say it's also, like, fucking crazy on how some of these, like, nowadays with the mobile betting and shit like that, you can make bets on like the NBA draft and all this stuff on like who's gonna have the craziest
who's gonna go where and all that stuff. Like just if so and so is gonna go in the top 5, top 10, and then if you can pick the team exactly, obviously the odds are pretty good on that.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know was Cade Cunningham's going to the Pistons.
Yeah.
So after that, then it's kind of open. I've seen some mock drafts where the second pick's kind of flip-flopping now as we get a little closer. So it's going to be good. I mean, I always love the NBA. First round, those players are usually pretty impactful for their teams. So it's going to be good.
I was going to say, I feel like NBA nowadays, or even like a lot of the sports, I feel like these players that come into the draft, they are a lot more, maybe not necessarily impactful in like a positive way, but they have a much more like effect on so many levels, like from like a marketing standpoint. Like obviously, like look at Zion.
Yeah.
You know, he came in and made such a huge splash. And he's been playing well in the NBA for sure.
Yeah.
Pelicans haven't been that good with him.
Yeah.
But either way, he's made a huge noise coming into the league, and it's just crazy. I feel like Cade Cunningham might do the same thing for the Pistons. And there's a couple other guys on that board that are, you know, I think going to make a name for themselves. And maybe they just aren't as visible as like what Cade Cunningham was. Like some of those G League guys that started in that new league, they sort of got lost in the sauce. But we'll definitely
Especially
dive in
with
that
COVID
stuff
and stuff like that. I feel like the players over the last 2 years, there's been a lot less hype around them than years before.
Definitely that. I mean that's a big part of it because, and I think it's more or less like those, like I was saying, those G League guys.
Yeah,
they don't really play televised games.
Yeah.
So it's like
you're not watching them during the season. You're not watching them in tournament play. You're not watching them in the NCAA tournament. So,
but back to the like what I was saying is I think it's just cool how the way this market of sports gambling's moved over the years and how there's so many different ways to bet games and different things to bet and so many different options. And it's like if a sports book doesn't offer one of those things, it's like losing its share because people want the ability to do that.
Yeah, like I was just trying to, like over the weekend, I was just trying to regroup it a little bit, trying to figure out what I was going to do for these next couple weeks where, you know, right now, I guess let's look at the results right now because, like I said, you've been doing pretty good. You've been hovering around kind of back to zero. I've been down the last 2 weeks, so I'm 11-29 right now. Bankroll's at 6,600, down about 3,400 right now.
Yeah.
You're 16-18-1. Bankroll is 11,049, so you're up $1,049 right now.
Yeah.
So like you're on that right path getting back. I know we both started out a little slow, so you know, for me, I was just trying to look at different bets to kind of, like I said, bridge the gap for me for NFL, college football. And I was looking at like player props. Like I was thinking about just throwing like $50 out on like 5 guys a night just to hit a home run.
Yeah.
Just like stuff like that. And it's like so cool that that's like an option now.
Yeah.
Where you can do that day in and day out. Where before it was like playoffs maybe, or like some of those bigger games that had lines like that.
Yeah, and depending on like the book itself.
Yeah.
Because not every sports book offers it. Not every sports book offers it for you to parlay it.
Yep.
There's so many different ways that you can put it in. But I think just looking at the records and the bankrolls, I think yours is a little bit like skewed in a way because you've taken a lot of like longer odd future bets. So I don't think your record really displays what you've been doing on like a straight up game basis. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because you like even the McGregor fight.
Yeah.
You had 5 bets on one fight.
I know.
That all equaled 1 unit.
Yeah.
So your record doesn't really display actually what's going on. And that's why if you did that, if 18 times 250, you would be down,
a ton,
close to $5,000 at that point.
Yeah.
So that just shows like where you're at from a record standpoint overall.
Yeah, I mean, my last two weekends that I've been doing pretty good. Yeah, parlays have been killing me, but I'm trying to hit something just to get me back close, which is, again, not what I should be doing. But my last 2 weekends where I've been doing, like, I feel like pretty good, it was UFC and golf.
Yeah.
So I was even thinking about just, like, laying off baseball and just betting, like, weird sports and shit. Like, start getting into, like, NASCAR and
also,
F1
like
racing and stuff like that.
You should have found a way to really and the thing that sucks about the golf thing is that they make it so difficult because obviously you got 5 to 10 guys that potentially could have won that tournament that weekend, and fucking it happened to be what's his name, Colin Morikawa or whatever the hell his name was. He ended up winning it. John Rahm almost came out of fucking nowhere and had a chance at winning it.
Yep.
So it's just like those type of things. Because if you would have put more money on those guys, and then imagine like John Rahm comes out and fucking... Because who else was in it? Spieth, I think?
Yeah. I talked about it a little bit on, I think, the last episode, just like diving into a little bit about hedging. Because it was a great opportunity to kind of talk about the opportunity for hedging. And especially with like baseball, basketball, these games, like that shit's like live. So it's like tougher to explain it. With golf, it's easier because you have the days in between.
Yeah, but also... Well, I feel like it's harder...
Spieth, Morikawa,
it might be
Louis.
Easier to explain it, but you mentioned it on the one episode where instead of like you're hedging against a whole field,
right?
When in a baseball game, like if you had a parlay, like yesterday, I was looking at. I told you off the record, off the 100K challenge, I put in a little parlay on, with the Yankees in on it.
Yep.
And if I would have at one point looked at that line live, I could have hedged the Red Sox.
Yep.
Just a little bit on their money line to come back, and if they would have came back and win, it would have dug into my profit a little bit on the parlay.
Yep.
But if the Red Sox win, I come up.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's like...
Where, like, to your point is, like, for the golf thing, if I hedge it and I hedge it wrong, and John Rahm comes out of nowhere and wins it, then it's like a triple loser.
Exactly. Then it's
then you're getting whacked when it's a $50 bet, and it's like, now I'm down like $600.
Exactly.
On a $50 bet.
Yeah. That had the potential to win you a good amount of money.
Yeah.
You know?
So like I said, it's kind of the dog days of summer here, trying to get through the baseball season, trying to just find a little groove for myself. I know you've been doing pretty good, kind of putting in 1 or 2 bets a day, and that's been working for you. So, want to look at our bets tonight?
Yeah, we can look at our bets tonight. I was going to say, I think with me, what's been working is, sticking to my unit, betting 2 to 3 games a night. Yep. And I've been finding some luck in, like, the underdog market.
Okay.
Like the plus. I've been betting a lot of plus 1.5s that happen to be plus money.
Okay.
And I've sort of found a strategy I think that works in that case, but I mean, I don't want to jinx myself that early, but we'll see where we're at with today's picks.
Yeah, so my first bet, finally the White Sox are playing against the left-hander, so that's my second bet. My first bet tonight is, so the Mets have a doubleheader against the Braves. I like the Mets just to win the game outright, but I think with both pitchers, especially Stroman being like a ground ball pitcher and it being a short game,
It's in New York too,
It's
right?
in New York, so
Yeah.
the Braves on the road are pretty bad. The Mets at home have been okay.
Yeah.
Stroman just has been bad his last couple starts, especially like after the All-Star game, I'm pretty sure.
I think he pitched
So-
one good game recently, but the rest have been terrible.
Yeah, and maybe that game that he pitched good, like we ended up blowing it like later in the game.
Yeah.
But so I just went with the under in that game, under 6.5. I think it's gonna be a low scoring. Like I said, I think it's gonna be a lot of ground balls. I don't think the Braves hit particularly good on the road, and then especially in the first game in a series too. I think the Mets have been pretty good throughout the season. So I like them just to win a low scoring game to start. That's my first bet. It's favorite obviously because it's an over under, so it's 250 to win 223-21. And then my other bets tonight are the White Sox -1.5. I forget off the top of my head who they're playing, but
The Royals.
Royals, yep, they're going up against the lefty on the Royals, so that's 250 win 335. If you just look at the splits for them against lefties this season, they've been really good. They're getting their DH back, who's been injured for a little while too, so hopefully bring some more bats with them. And then I think Keuchel's pitching for them, and he's an older guy, but he's been pretty good for them all season. They have a great starting pitching rotation, so.
Yep.
I think that they're going to do pretty good. The Royals scare me a little bit. I know that they haven't been good for the last couple of years. I know they're towards the bottom, but I just feel like every once in a while they can string it together. You know, they're usually a contact team, so that might keep them close. But I think the White Sox win by 2 or more in that game. Then I also like the Angels -1.5. That's getting back to my roots where I was doing good to kind of start with baseball, which is betting on Colorado at home and betting Colorado against Colorado on the road. So Colorado's going to Anaheim tonight. They just got off playing the Dodgers. So they're traveling a little bit, traveling up the California coast. So that's 250 to win 350.
Yep.
The Angels -1.5 at home. And then I know it says 4-team parlay, but I think what's the 4-team in there?
No, it was just 3
The 3-teamer, yeah.
I made the mistake on that. It's just
Yeah.
the 3 teams that
Okay.
you picked.
So yeah, it's those 3 teams in there. It's 250 to win 2,400. So that's gonna be my parlay. Is just stringing all those guys together, and like I said, trying to make something happen. It's not usually the way I try to advise people against it. I try not to do the parlays, but now because I'm in a bad spot, I'm making bad decisions, and it's just hurting me. I think I've put 3 parlays, and so far they've all lost.
Yeah.
So that's another 750 that could be on my record right now.
Exactly.
And I figure with this one, this either gets me down to -1,000 on parlays, 0 for 4, and then I just stop, or I hit this one and I get back to even.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting in a good spot. So
Yeah.
got to move away from that. Got to get a little smarter on my picks for the baseball stuff. Like I said, to kind of grind out the baseball season until we get to that football season.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll kick it up from there because I think we're going to have a great college football and NFL season this year.
Yeah.
It's going to be an awesome slate.
I'm looking forward to college football for sure, more than the NFL. Just personally, because I feel like I do a lot better betting wise.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit more. I'm more successful at picking it because I think there's less variable when it comes to like Vegas making the lines and less variance when it comes to it. Like I feel like when Vegas is on point with a line and they get the public heavy on one side, they know what's going to happen.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But the NFL is just like it's so fucking unpredictable. You never know what the fuck's going to happen.
Yeah, and I feel like with college football and I feel like with the NFL, like there's a lot of kind of tried and true like things that we look for, at least I look for when it comes to bets, like when it comes to reverse line movement, when it comes to like just fading the public, like these heavy bets on certain teams. Like the reason why I don't have the Mets in my picks today, to another reason looking at it is like, again, Stroman hasn't been that great.
Yeah.
But according to Action Network, it was like 90% of the money was on the Braves.
Really?
Of the money line. And then it was like split 50-50 on the spread. So I'm just like that type of stuff just throws me off. Like I'm not used to seeing it so out of whack when it's like 50 points, 40 points higher on one bet or the other. Usually it's like 70-30, not like 90-10 on picks. So and I haven't been able to figure out like if the public's right, if the public's wrong. Like I feel like baseball, the public's right a lot more than they're wrong, which is usually different than football. So
I was saying the crazy thing is about baseball is. I feel like the public is right on some nights, but if you're able to like pinpoint it and be precise on who you're going to take and fade the public on, then it's like that there's good value in it. Yeah. But it's just like it's so weird because there's 160 games throughout the year. There's so many opportunities for that to happen in baseball. Yeah. So you got to sort of be a little bit more precise on when it's going to happen and what games that could occur at. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like that's sort of where I'm at tonight. Is like I got my first bet's 500 to win 600 on the Blue Jays money line. Okay. They're playing the Red Sox. Pavetta's pitching for the Red Sox. A lot of money's on the Red Sox. Yep. And Blue Jays are pitching like some dude. At first, I saw it was like some dude. His last name was Hatch. Okay. And I think they might have scratched him because on MLB.com it's to be decided still. Okay. But truthfully, I feel like the fucking Blue Jays are gonna absolutely destroy Pavetta. They're going to put a lot of runs up on them, score the ball a ton, put up runs, give some support to whoever they have pitching. Yep. And I think money line's the way to go with this one. It's good odds, and it's a low number, like plus 120, considering how the Red Sox have been playing this year, which is pretty good. Yep. And with the amount of money that's on the Red Sox tonight, I feel like fading them. This is me like trying to be precise and pinpoint the right time to do it. Okay. My second game I have is the Nationals over 9.5, 525 to win 500. Two fucking terrible dudes on the mound. Joe Ross and some Spencer Howard, I think it is, on the Phillies. Okay. The way the Nats have been sort of hitting the ball this year too has been sort of spectacular. Like the one game you took them against the Padres, yeah, they put up like 20 runs or 15 runs or some shit.
Yeah, it was insane. Both teams went over in that game.
Yeah, so I think it's the same type of thing is going to happen tonight. I think it's a good opportunity. Not a lot of. At one point when I was looking at the splits as far as like the handle, which is like the amount of money that's being bet, it was 50-50. But they moved the line up 0.5 runs. Okay. And then at one point it even was down like 47% on the under and 53% on the over. And then that flipped. So it was like 53% of the public was on the over and 47 on the under.
Even though the line moved up a half.
But exactly. And the line moved up a half. But that happened before that percentage moved. Okay. So the line moved up a half a point. Yep. And then it got some people to bet on the over. So that's where I see that being tonight. And then I put together a little parlay just to throw $100 out there and see if I could hit. Yep. I got the Blue Jays money line, Twins money line, which I think is an easy play. Royals money line, which fades against your White Sox pick. Yep. I saw a lot of people on the White Sox, but one thing I didn't see that I think helps you, and you had mentioned it, is that the White Sox, they hit the ball well against a lefty pitcher. Yeah. And I think that is going to play against this tonight. And where I'm at tonight is if the White Sox cover that bet, I'm slamming the Royals tomorrow. Yeah. That's why I put them on the money line, because I think, and if they don't win game 2, yeah, like tomorrow I'm going to put 250 on them game 2, and if they don't win that, and the line steals, even if the line goes up a little bit, I'm taking the Royals game 3 for 500. Yeah. So I'm going to do like a little bit of that, what do they call it, like progressive betting, where like you start at a number and then double it up. Yeah. I'm doing it with that game because I think not that I can guarantee it, I think the Royals are going to get one game of this series.
It's interesting you said that, because like I was listening to a couple interviews this past weekend. Like one of the guys that I was listening to is talking about, he's on, I forget which team he's on, but he's on a good team that's like contending for the playoffs in baseball. And they were talking about like the team's attitude and like, do you guys talk about the World Series? Do you guys just focus on the game in and game out? Yeah. And he's like, honestly, like, yeah, like we all think we're gonna be in the playoffs. We're all shooting for the World Series. Mm-hmm. But really, we walk into the clubhouse every night and we just try to win tonight's game. Yeah. And then he's like, then if like we get smoked, we like meet up before we like leave the clubhouse, and we're just like, yo, like get a good night's sleep because we're coming back 10 times harder tomorrow.
Yeah.
And he's like, if you look at our record, like we rarely lose like 2 in a row. Like if we lose bad the night before, we come back swinging the night before.
Yeah.
And I was listening to some gambler that was talking about it, and he was like, yeah, for baseball, I just like look at like the series. And like you're kind of saying, he's like, I just let the first game go however the first game's gonna go.
Yep.
And then he's like, if there's 2 good teams playing against each other, and if it was like a blowout win, then he's like, I just hammer the other team the next night.
Yeah.
And it's like stuff like that I wish like that we could find like more information on stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
Because that to me, that type of stuff is interesting, and that's where
Like
I think
what specifically, like their energy in the clubhouse, or
nah, like if your team's like above 500 and you lose by like 3 runs or more the night before, how do you perform the next game?
yeah, those are trends that I would love to be able to see.
And that's where I think like we keep talking about like the way that like the sports books are going with like the type of like bets that you can put in. I think that's going to be like one of the next big things like in sports betting is just going to be like all these places are going to have so much information with like sports insights, coverage, all that stuff where they're going to help
the
like,
analytics and stuff to it.
Yeah, they're going to take analytics, I think, like out of the clubhouse, and like these like big like books and stuff like that are going to start hiring like these analytic teams to help put this information together, and then also like
Well, that's how they
present it all. I mean,
how do you
I know
think
they do it already.
I was gonna say, how do you think the bookmakers do it so well? Like they know they have knowledge to a whole nother
They got
level
MIT grads all over the place.
that they don't even want the public to know about.
Yeah, that's true too.
Because then it just gives everyone else an edge.
Yeah.
Because they certainly don't want to do that. It wouldn't make sense for them to. But that's as you're talking about like the mobile betting. That's why they love that. The sports books love the mobile betting even more than the actual like
In casino betting?
yeah.
Yeah.
Because they can see people's behavior a little bit more.
Yeah.
They can track your betting 100 times more, 1,000 times more than they could if you just walked into the casino. Yeah. There's just a lot more of like the science behind it that a normal average person doesn't think about. But the sports books are just like, oh yeah, sign the fuck up. That's why we'll give you a $500 free bet to come sign up for us, as we know this shit we're gonna kill it off that.
Yeah, and also too, like I think that like the sports books too, like it's gonna be like at some point, I don't know if it's gonna come out, but they have crazy amounts of data on like where you're looking at. Like they even know like if you add something like on FanDuel, if you add something to your ticket but you don't end up betting it, like they know that you were looking at it. They know you added to your bet
100%.
So they know what people are even looking at, not even just what people are taking
Actually,
which
betting.
is like a crazy advantage compared to in person. You don't know what people are looking at.
No.
You just know what bets are actually getting placed.
Yeah, 100%. And that comes down to, like I said, the science of it. They love having that data.
Yeah.
And then they're just going to figure out ways to manipulate that to get people to bet more.
Oh, yeah.
That's just the way it works in that industry. And it's sick when you think about how deep they get into it. But
yeah,
it's still an amazing industry, I think.
Yeah, it's entertainment. You know, we're not here saying quit your job and start betting on baseball.
Well, I was gonna say, I think we should put more. I think about it, we should put a discllaimer, like if you're a gambling addict,
like
or
1-800-GAMBLERS or whatever the hotline is.
If you seriously, if you are getting that in depth and losing your shirt from it, please, don't get that deep involved, because it's not that serious.
Yeah, it's for fun, and it's only fun when you're winning. So like your ass.
I mean,
like I am. I'm not having a good time.
I was gonna say,
I know it takes one night.
I was gonna say, I think it's fun almost like no matter what.
Yeah,
like winning or losing, you just don't want to lose like your fucking life over it to the point where like you cry yourself to sleep at night. No, but winning and losing, just the rush and the potential of winning. Because as someone told me one time, and this honestly sat with me crazy, they said, maybe I saw it on like Instagram or something, but they were like, money won feels better than money earned.
Oh yeah,
and I couldn't agree with that more.
100%.
Like the idea of just like winning the money. That's why the casinos are what they are.
For sure.
Just in general. Like people just love the opportunity to go there and press a button and potentially
on a slot.
Yeah, and potentially win a ton of money. Or just pick 6 sports games and potentially turn $10 to like $400. You know what I mean? So it's crazy to think like that, but it's fucking the truth.
Oh, absolutely.
The sad truth.
Absolutely. So again, Sportsbook Sports on Instagram and YouTube here. Sportsbook Talks on Twitter. Let us know what you guys are taking tonight. Let us know what you think about our picks.
Yes, sir.
Give us a like. Give us a subscribe.
Yep. And we'll see you guys next episode.